Just a blink.
Odd.
Oh, finally, stuff is starting to show up. Testing 1, 2. Jim, say a couple of words.
Okay, what would you want to say? What should we talk about?
Let's turn you up a little bit more.
Okay.
Get a little bit more volume out of you. There we go.
Okay. Who all do you have there at Tequilas today?
There is 7 of us again. 2, 4, well, 5 of us. 5 of us. We've got Jim, Paul, Irving, Bill, and myself have all decided today. I am Scott Stimson with International Computer Solutions. Hair behind schedule because I was a little late getting here. And of course, there's always problems getting set up. And whenever I assume it's going to go together just fine, it doesn't.
Of course not.
Yeah. Could never
factor.
That's right.
Anybody?
But welcome. I'm very happy to have all you guys here. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. And in typical club, I've prepared a document with some topics on it. I hope all of you received last night at some point. If you were interested, I hope the news articles and topics I was bringing to the table. Style, I am ready to entertain any questions or stories or comments or topics. And Bill has already got his hand up. Go ahead, Bill.
Just a topical event thing. Cheryl claims that there was a earthquake last night.
Yes, there was.
4.7.
Eh?
4.7.
And I slept through it. I missed the earth.
Oh, I only got one.
One was just outside of Guaymas, southeast,
The epicenter.
and the other one was up further. I don't remember where.
Out in the middle of the.
Oh,
Oh,
And you guys felt it?
I felt it. We were sitting on the couch watching some. Asleep on the couch yet?
yeah.
it was a hair after 9.
Yeah,
Right in that time.
right in that time period. And you said there was a second one,
It was 2. The other one was farther north, I believe.
so I was probably already asleep by then. I do not get woken up by earthquakes. Maybe it's my
Obviously,
Alaskan
right?
upbringing. It's just yeah. There has to be stuff falling off the walls for me to get woken up.
I had a friend that was in Alaska when the big one hit. There was a huge one that destroyed some place.
64, yeah.
64, and he happened to be his profession was plaster, gyprock plaster. To be in that area would be a glacier.
Irving, were you in Alaska during the big one?
No.
No, before your time there.
I went out to Alaska 34 years ago. That's probably about 90,
89. Okay,
Started out.
it's when I graduated high school. Well, it is before my time as well. My folks weren't even up there at that time. They showed up. I think 68 is when they showed up. But there's amazing footage and pictures of the devastation that was caused by that.
Well, I've seen all that.
Yeah.
In Homer, and we still have the fire there used to be before it dropped. We had it at the time.
Well, this guy said he was on the street in close to the major part. And he said, coming at him, he says it's something he really didn't want to see again.
We get a couple of tsunami warnings every summer. And we had a couple this summer.
Yeah.
And we already know the route where to go.
You just start heading up the mountain.
Up the mountain.
Gate Bridge was fun on earthquake.
I was hitchhiking in BC, British Columbia, and I could have caught a ride. This guy was headed to Los Angeles, San Diego, or somewhere down into California the day before the big one there that collapsed all the freeways and stuff.
Oh wow, that was yeah.
Yeah,
There's the World Series.
hey, yeah. Anyway, I could have been down in there in the middle of that if I decided. I figured, nah, I don't want to go to California. Too many earthquakes.
Too many earthquakes.
Not enough hippies.
Well, they do say that this area is earthquake prone, but I've been here 27 years, and I think this is like the third time somebody has mentioned. Well, I guess fourth if we count 2 last night.
Well, where's the San Andreas fault? Must run around here somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm told. Is it goes down here, goes,
Right up the Gulf.
you know,
Right up the Gulf. Yeah, the Gulf is the fault. That's what I understood.
yeah.
Anybody check to see if California's still safe?
Well, that's a good question because you would think somebody would tell us, but then again, isn't most of the people that would say something in California?
Yes.
I guess maybe that's where our internet
That's where
problems
your
are coming
internet
from.
Why you couldn't get any video feed this morning?
That's right. Well, here comes Jim. Come on. Yeah. That could have been smoother. Here comes Jim. Good morning. Good morning. We were just talking about the earthquake we had last night, which was only big enough to notice.
In San Carlos.
Yeah, well, we felt it in San Carlos. It seems like wasn't the first one just right outside of the Empalme area?
Oh,
It's southeast of Guaymas.
Southeast of Guaymas.
And I didn't feel a thing.
You didn't feel anything.
No, I'm on that rock.
Well, we felt a shiver through the house,
oh
which
well.
makes me a little nervous when the whole house is made of concrete, brick, and right,
You better hope there's good rebar in there.
right. Well, that
thought-
alone, there's been stories of the rebarless constructions falling apart down as far as Mexico City, even in Hermosillo, things like that happening.
Well, it's not as bad as Turkey.
No.
Oh.
Where they have the houses are put together with boulders and dust.
Jeez, yeah.
So here's
I thought that
what's
some.
the- Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I thought it was trying to like break in with the grate and the sliding door downstairs, right below our bedroom, kind of thing, and it shook. And I looked, and I thought, okay, Cheryl, that isn't anybody. You keep listening. If there's somebody in the house, you'll know something else. And then I was online at the time about that's what that was. So
What time of day was it that it happened?
about
Just
99
around 9. Yeah, somewhere in there, right around somewhere between 9 and 10, it seems like.
Yesterday evening.
Yes.
Apparently the earth moved for Cheryl and I had nothing to do with it.
Your timing was poor there.
Yeah, it's always been my problem.
You should take more credit.
For the earthquake.
Anyway, there's no earthquake up here, and we did manage to remove
What?
about one half of our bamboo.
What did you blow up?
That wasn't me.
Either way. And,
Sounds like Jim just got assassinated. Oh, you moved your computer around, and consequently, your directional mic. We stopped hearing what you were saying.
Oh, so we took some bamboo. We cut down our bamboo to about half the size, and people are wanting clumps of it, so it's all sitting outside the window there. So I'm looking out through the bamboo today, but not much else. Other big
Oh my
news.
gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got the wrong.
Uh-oh.
Jim's made a request to see your charming face. Wow, we got 3 Jims today. It's the Jim show.
Yeah.
he said there's 2 imposters.
2 imposters. That's right. That's right. Look at I'm starting to look a little bit like him. I think it's you're gonna have to get better glasses to.
This is a case if I'm Jim and this is my brother Jim.
Yeah.
Coffee's coming around.
There, Jonathan, you're on.
We got
the
Jonathan
screen.
on
Look up.
camera.
Hello there. Where's the camera? Right?
Hello, Internet. It's
Hello,
right there.
Well, Jonathan.
No, this isn't TikTok. This isn't TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. We are like 100 times longer than a TikTok video.
That's right.
So, anyone out there brought some topics other than what I've suggested? You've got some troubleshooting we can do, some questions people might
Fix
have.
my internet.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't fix my internet. We'll see what happens with it. We were talking earlier before we were all on the meeting that Bill is having some issues that I feel like are becoming more and more common recently, like in the last 2 weeks. I'm having the same kind of issues where the experience is one where you go to pull up a web page and maybe it says this page doesn't exist. And then a second or two later, it pops into view.
We saw it when Cheryl was talking. It froze for about a second and then come back on. You missed just a little bit of what she said, but that's what's happening. You know, it happens all the time.
I'm definitely having the same issue out at my place, and I'm not quite sure where the problem is. We've talked in the past that I use 2 internet connections. One's Telmex and one is provided by our local wireless provider, Xpro. And Juan's suggesting that I connect a cable over to his equipment because it's only like 50 meters away from me. Yeah. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I hope it resolves the problem. That would be awesome. But if it doesn't, at least I'll have another troubleshooting technique available. I'll have the antenna and a cable.
Okay.
Maybe after I have the cable, I'll shoot the antenna up to Jim's house. I'll have a 3rd internet connection.
Anyway, just as a note, Cheryl and I are sitting in the living room. She's on her iPad. I have my iPad running and my laptop running. She experiences it way more often than I do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like her iPad, and they're identical iPads hooked to the same thing. And she has way more trouble with it than I do.
What do you guys have the same kind of behavior?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I don't notice it near as much.
That's interesting. I wonder why that would be.
Maybe I'm just slower and it has time to recover.
Maybe you just think you're not
Well,
enough.
does anybody start using Starlink?
Oh, Irving's got a Starlink.
Yeah, our son-in-law's got one, and he has it up in the bush. He's got an off-grid place up near Williams Lake. If you want to go and look at it on Google Earth, it's a long way from here, and it's quite in the bush, but it's outside of Williams Lake even. But then another friend, actually a medical doctor here, he's got a place down in Costa Rica. Same thing. He just takes it with him and props it up, and away he goes wherever he is.
It has been so successful that, like, out of all the things that Musk has done, this is very available in Mexico. You can go right to the website and order it here in Mexico, have it sent to your Mexican address. Everything's billed in Mexico. It's the pricing for the equipment and the service is competitively priced. It's there isn't an incentive to try and bring it down from the United States because it's basically the same price for the equipment and service.
What is the equipment price roughly?
It's right around $500 the last time I looked at it. Yeah, Irving.
Unless you want to really up your up it, they have a commercial unit which is $2,500, which I use in Alaska.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the equipment. They've got a higher, more sophisticated piece of equipment and service available. I haven't looked at it in a while, but yeah.
It's a must.
He said this when he went to Costa Rica. The doctor from Qualicum Beach, and man, he said it was no problem. And they have a 4-unit apartment building down there, and they're running everybody off it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa.
Well, it's definitely become an option around here. They are not, they're not installing. Oh, you know, here's an interesting thing I heard over the weekend. I was talking to somebody that does work with Telmex and their fiber optic installations. And he verified for me what I have believed all along. They are not installing new fiber anywhere in San Carlos. All they're doing is turning on old fiber. So there is no chance that there's going to be fiber down my street anytime soon, even though every Telmex tech says it's part of the project. It's part of the project, kind of like the main thoroughway that goes by your house is part of the San Carlos project. You know that 4-lane highway coming into town? Right. But so that I felt warm fuzzies for being correct in that I have not seen one new installation of fiber. People are like, oh, they're installing fiber in San Carlos. It's like, they're just turning it on. If it's not at your house, it's never going to be at your house. It's, yeah. Well, and it's even so much worse because they have limited the availability where they do have fiber to the equipment that works. If you want fiber in that neighborhood, you're going to have to kill your neighbor or set the switch on fire so they have to replace it. Those are your two options because they've sold all those fiber connections, and the only way you're going to get one is if somebody drops theirs. And so we're back to the early 2000s where you don't dare turn off your connection when you leave because they'll sell it to your neighbor and then you won't have it when you come back.
F was the last new install of fiber.
What's that?
F was the last new install of fiber.
F was?
Yeah.
Well,
2020,
that in 2020?
2020.
Well, and that wouldn't have been for fiber. That would have been for telephones, right?
Fiber.
Well, no, I understand that, but their goal was to put a switch out on F to feed all these different connections out there, right? Because they were replacing bad infrastructure.
Well, one of the guys from Telmex, one of the head guys, bought a lot on F,
Mm,
and that's how it got fiber.
there you go.
That's what you got to do.
That's what you gotta do.
Get a Telmex neighbor.
I'm gonna
If you want it so bad, you buy the lot and give it to
Yes, because I'm made of money. It's all the revenue from the computer club that's going to make so they had to find financing to keep going as this altruistic endeavor to try and make responsible AI. And so that's when he started looking at partnering with people like Microsoft in this appendage of an organization. This is such a strange organization. And it was researchers in AI that provoked this whole thing. They went to the board and said, these are very smart computer scientists, who they are, but that's the assumption. The assumption are these are the people that are top of the game. And they're having fears by how quickly we're moving down this road without thought. They bring it to the board. The board goes, well, that sounds dangerous. And your leader sounds dangerous. And so they oust him over the weekend. All of that sounds somewhat reasonable if your goal is to make responsible AI. However, this Sam Altman has such popularity with this organization. That's when you got an open letter that 700 people signed saying, Sam's going to Microsoft. We're all going to Microsoft. That's when the board that's when Satya Nadella got involved in it. Microsoft owns 95% of that appendage. So they have a vested interest in all this working out. And now the board who did they put on the board? Wasn't it somebody from an ex-Salesforce guy? I mean, it was just total capitalist corporates are now running altruistic, responsible research into artificial intelligence. So, yeah, I'm left with very mixed feelings about how all this went down. I mean, I have nothing against Sam Altman. I think it's really impressive to have a leader that so many people would resonate with and show support for. And it does feel like he didn't have a chance to have a position. Like the board just felt like this is not what we're about, and just got rid of him. So that feels wrong too. But at the same time, capital absolutely in this battle. And I don't know if it's for the best, we won't know for the next few years. We won't know whether that was the right thing to happen or not.
What's good for AI, it's good for America.
Well, you should be their marketing team. Right? Yeah, and there's probably in that kind of sentiment, you can always, whether you're a congressman or a business leader, you can always say, we can't let China get ahead of us on this, right? Like that is who we're competing against. So we can't allow China to get inroads into AI that we don't already have. We can't be holding back this stuff on rails when the rest of the world is not. I'm left with really mixed feelings about the whole thing.
People on TikTok who look Chinese.
Chester, you've got your hand up. What would you like to?
Well, I was going to read yesterday where after all this came back together, all set up again, is there's concern that it will now move so rapidly that it will lose its safety focus. That's just a concern in the industry.
Yeah,
I guess just Chester, that's my biggest concern that directly in all these actions is that they were throwing him out because it was dangerous for their safety concerns. And he has so much support by the organization that he's been put back in that role. And his whole role is bringing money into that organization however he can. So it seems like what they're signaling is that safety is a secondary concern.
So, sounds a little bit like the parable of the Pied Piper.
How would you?
Well, we could whistle and go over the cliff with them, if there's no guidelines on what he's up to in that. If really like we can either suppress them so much that the Chinese will surpass the West, that's one thing, or let them go and you're basically paying the Pied Piper, and you have to keep paying, or it's over the road, right over the cliff.
Well, it definitely feels like an awkward situation to be in for decision makers, because it is, capitalism is king. Everything that's a good business decision is supposed to be a good decision. I'm generalizing, but that's kind of how our culture is in the United States. And so the idea that you would spend lots of money on something that doesn't make money doesn't make a whole lot of sense in American business. And it feels like that was the point. You're not going to make money with this idea unless you get the right people in charge, and he's the right person to, with the blessing of Microsoft and the threat of Microsoft taking the entire organization. That was really, they changed the board completely and put business leaders on it because Microsoft was ready to grab up the whole organization. Willingly. The organization was willingly ready to go to Microsoft. So even the underpinnings of the organization must be capitalistic intent behind it. It's not all safety and concern. I suspect that Altman brought in enough money to the organization with the Microsoft deal that the people, the engineers that are working on these projects are like, oh, wow, that's a great bonus. Oh, wow, I can buy a new car. Oh, wow, mortgage. Why don't we just keep making that happen? I'm speculating, but it sure feels like that kind of a situation. Yeah, Irving, did you want to add something?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard you say something from over there. Well, anyway, time's gonna. Yeah. Time is the only thing that's going to make it clear whether this was a good direction or not. But I just can't help but think that if we were in a different country's culture, this would have been more, and there would be more hand wringing over these kinds of decision making. And in our culture, it's 2 days of embarrassment and back to business. Well, I did bring some news articles I thought were interesting and relevant to the things that we find interesting. One of the most interesting ones coming up, this solar plan. Had you guys heard about this solar plan to bring the irrigation canals, a solar blanket, this solar roof that would go over these concrete rivers that they have in Arizona? The idea being to solve two problems: to generate electricity and to limit the amount of evaporation that's happening right now in the desert.
That's good. They were gonna put a water and then cover it, is that what you're saying, or just solar panels?
Just solar panels, using them as
Yeah, they're going to cover it.
shade.
So they use solar panels to cover it, I suppose.
Well, it's better than having it in the open desert where they disrupt the ecology.
Or to evaporate.
Yeah, well, then that's the idea, is to try and solve both these problems, to generate more electricity, because that's necessary, and to stop the water from disappearing.
You've got solar plates that you can pave a road with now.
Yeah.
Start with your parking lot for the company.
Have you seen the new Carl's Jr. in Wymus? Their parking is all shaded parking, and the shade is all solar panels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a pretty impressive installation they've done.
Walmart, where the shade never goes on the.
You never can
Yeah.
park in the shade.
You got to park outside of business hours to get the shade
Yes.
in Walmart.
Road goes east and west.
Yeah.
Right.
The shade is oriented east and west. You can maybe get the nose in underneath there once in a while. Shopping carts are in the shade.
Well, if you look at the layout of that Carl's Jr., you don't realize it, but if you go up the side of it, they have an extensive parking lot in the back, and all of it's got solar panels for shading, which I think is probably a real if you were going to build something like that. Say again?
I'm trying to remember where Carl's Jr.
Well, it's just opened over the summer,
Oh,
and it's on the same side of the street as Burger King,
oh.
but it's down about 2 blocks farther.
That Burger King is next to my favorite tire store.
Yes. Always give people to go there as well. They're good, honest. They
tread, an inch thick,
okay.
but I can go anywhere in the desert.
Well, what I appreciate about them is everything about your car is in their computer, right? So they pull you up and they know what they did last on your car.
Well, I told them that
Michelin.
connecting rods to my front suspension were broken. Did they replace them? The guy comes in 5 minutes later and he says, it's just a bolt.
Yeah.
Replace the bolt for nothing.
You're reminding me I've got a new rack and pinion sitting in the back of my car that I need to bring in because they're going to replace that. Until then, I just drive like this. It's not working right.
Oh, is everybody calling it Tequila Boulevard now?
Oh, that's right. They renamed it.
Last year.
I think it's a smart change. Easier for the.
That was very hilarious.
Well, I love how you turn down it, and the Ted Cowies are right just down the center of it. It's very impressive presentation for people entering the town. So being called Ted Cowie Boulevard makes a whole lot of sense from a marketing standpoint.
Magic town.
Yeah. The Pueblo Mágico. Well, another one of these articles I brought, I thought you guys would be interested in, is this technology that they're starting to do with silk. The idea of interfacing organics with chips, with silicon, and they're using silk as the medium. I'm trying to bring up the article right this moment. But from what I gathered from it is it's the first steps in organic digital processing, and that they're predicting that these chips will start seeing them in the marketplace in about a year.
So silk is a conductor.
I believe so. I believe that, or at least as a building block, maybe similar to the way we use silicon right now. But the idea being that they're accessing organic material to build digital devices, and so they'll be organic.
Maybe they can coat the strand of silk with conductor.
I don't know. For me, what was significant is that chips in our consumer electronics as early as within the next year or so.
Maybe they feed the caterpillars aluminum.
Microprocessors, scaled transistors detect and respond to biological states and the environment. I don't know. I read stuff like this and I think, well, that may make chips easier at like sensing environments, right? Like temperature sensors and humidity sensors and things of that nature.
Tells everything about
We might be a step closer to a wearable that's able to get your blood sugar without intrusively taking a blood sample. Things of that nature. Like you said, something you could swallow that interfaces better, or maybe an implant that's just in you all the time.
Conspiracy theory guy should have a heyday with that.
Hybrid transistors. Silk Labs is the name of this place. I think it's Italian. Bioactive inks for fabrics. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a bit wooey. I like this quote here. You could imagine creating circuits that make use of information that is not represented by the discrete binary levels used in digital computing, but can process variable information as in analog computing. So we had lots of discussions about this, about the memsistor, when HP developed the memsistor. And changed the fundamental building blocks of electronics, which you still don't hear much about anymore, but it caused them to rethink the fundamental resistance, impedance, conductance, and then you've got this memory that is they were able to prove is a natural fundamental part of circuit design is this memsistor, this ability to remember states, so you can go beyond the natural off and on that a transistor represents. And one of the reasons that we have so many transistors is because everything gets represented as a 1 or a 0. So if you have a spectrum of state, you have to have a spectrum of 1s and 0s to define that state. For me, the easiest way to think about it is black, white, or gray. How do you get gray? Well, you get gray with various states of black and white. Right? So it's all 1s or 0s, but how many 1s over here, how many 0s over there determine how gray something is going to be in my metaphor. And they're saying that this is that kind of thing where it would be able to receive data in something other than a 1 or a 0, an off or on state. It could read a spectrum of state and immediately process it. Only possible through an organic interface, or so they say. We've got the 15-minute warning for all you guys out there. I will start up a new session in the next few moments. I'll let you know when I do that. Anyway, it's a fairly deep dive into this topic, and you get to learn about a new company that's working on it that I had not heard of before, Silk Labs. Apparently they've been around for a while. Not that any of that will directly affect us anytime soon, but I thought it was fascinating, so I thought people would appreciate that. And another new one that I thought people could appreciate, very easy to wrap your head around, is this excavator that's completely autonomous building walls, which I thought was pretty cool. They've got a video that you can watch in this article, and it essentially scans all the boulders that it will use to build this wall and then picks them, it selects them like puzzle pieces to build this wall. All of it happening without anything more than like a supervisor operator that's out there making sure things are in the right place and being done the right way. But yeah, with robotic excavators.
Yeah, from space.
From space, of course. This actually isn't anything we've developed. We uncovered it. The government will never tell you that. This
No.
so came from too.
All going bends.
The heap excavator. That's what we're looking at here. The heap excavator. It's got like a 4-wheel.
They're there to polish the machines and grease it.
That's right. We're there to serve the machines.
Yes, exactly.
Have you seen those terraplane machines that they have had for years and years, for decades now? They're like a Euclid earth hauler that has a computer on it, and it's all worked out, and so it can make a field. So it's absolutely it's a plane, not necessarily level. That you can make it level if you want. You can have the same grade and so on. They use it a lot for sod production. They can make huge flat fields that where there's no wet spots, so that other than the sod doesn't grow evenly. So when you cut the strips, it's spotty, and they can fix that. Had it for years.
Interesting. And you're saying that's robot assisted?
Yep. And since the
autonomous,
since the 80s, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they just basically the operator has to just drive around in circles on this field, and it will either the you know how the Euclid works, where the bottom of the truck drops down and digs, or it can drop stuff out the back. So if you're low, it's dropping out, and if you're high, it's digging up. And just like when you're doing machining, you can't, if you need to take off 3 feet, it's not going to dig down and take 3 feet off. It'll take like 6 inches at a time, or whatever the machine can handle, so that it doesn't bog down or get, anyway, it just puts it all. And then once it's filled up, it goes over to places where it's low and does the emptying.
Wow.
And at that time, all the machine operator had to do around the field.
No, that's impressive technologies.
Yeah. But
well, farming is
getting wall, having tried to make a few.
Say that again.
I really like that stone wall, having tried to make a few stacked stone walls myself. That's quite a skill. Yeah,
absolutely. It'll be interesting to see as things like that may become available to contractors, maybe through renting or that kind of stuff. You just hire one to come out. I need a 6-foot wall over here in the corner.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time in this meet? 8 more minutes. Let me get that other meet window open. And I am running low on topics. I got a couple of things from last week as well that we could hit. But let me get this other meet up. Part 2. Okay, that meet is open right now. If anyone wants to. And I'm going to open it up over here too. Jim's getting in. The gyms are getting in.
Separate camera for Big Jim over there. Is he at Tequilas right now?
He's with us in Tequilas, yes, but he's way off there in the distance of the shot.
All right. What you driving today, Jim?
What are you driving?
My wife's car. Bug out of the garage. Got that locked.
One way to keep her at home.
How you doing?
Pretty darn good.
Where are you now?
Well, we're up on Vancouver Island, and we're not coming down to Mexico this year. Our plan is to in the spring we're heading to England. Our kids are a year.
Are we moving over?
Yes, we're moving over, Chester.
Yeah. Well, it's like you moved over.
Yeah, I must have left the other meat open here. Yeah, I did. Let me kill that.
Is that a live picture at Tequilas?
Yeah.
There's none of you in it.
That's
Yes, there are.
Oh,
you can't.
There you go.
Yeah. And here comes Irving. The problem is getting everybody in the picture.
Looking like as much like chairs as possible, I think there.
Right angle.
The app I use is just not. Well, then I gotta format it to fit on the screen. How's that? Let's see, how does that look? I'm back.
So
There we go.
it's asking to join, but it's not letting me in or Cheryl in.
Well,
How come?
because I'm not sitting here letting you in.
Well, I'll get on it.
There we go. We got everybody.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Let me get this off the screen. Okay. Chester, what would you like to say?
And I had a situation a few days ago, which I think is interesting, perhaps just to me. But apparently I had been using some ad blocker that ran out of time. And so I got to looking around for what ad blocker I should have. And I found one called Ad Block.
Ad block.
And, it was something like a substantial discount from the normal price. And so I was filling out the form, and it finally wanted me to pay with PayPal, and I decided, oh, we don't do that. So I just canceled it all out. Interestingly, a day or so later, my PayPal account got hit for $29.99, and the ad blocker was able to get paid by PayPal even though I didn't approve it.
Wow, you must have been in like almost to the end or something at some
I
point.
was almost to the end, but I never put in my PayPal code in order to pay for it.
Yeah.
I could probably go after them through PayPal, but for $29 is hardly worth it.
Well, yeah, but you should be able to. You should be able to go to PayPal. Yeah, Irving, you had a device.
Had ad block for years.
Ad block.
For me to renew, and I'm having the same trouble. Can't pay.
You can't get it paid, and Chester decided not to pay for it, but ended up paying accidentally.
Well, ad block is good. I've had it for years, but the one-off site, maybe we have a different site. They ask for donations, and I pay through donations. Maybe that's the way I started with them or whatever. But they also have subscription.
Subscription as well as like a lifetime.
Yeah, and they've always sent me very nominal, and I always just pay.
I guess. Oh, I'm sorry, Irving. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So I don't really know what I'm paying for, except I know it was.
Well, you know, the other thing we should probably recognize is that there's a lot of things called ad blocker thing of that nature. So even having a discussion between what you're doing and what Chester's doing, we would want to make sure we're on the same page. We're talking about the same product.
I'm trying to pull mine up there.
But Chester, I bet you could pursue that with PayPal. They seem to be pretty good about that kind of stuff, or with the ad blocker.
I probably could. The interesting is I'm continuing to get get emails from ad blocker wanting me to sign up, but after having paid the $30, I still don't have the program.
And that's why maybe I'm having trouble. I have ad block. It was just a renewal, and I wasn't able to use PayPal.
Yeah.
And I had a problem. Now they're emailing me, do I want to continue to pay? But I want to say the word is ad block, nothing further.
No hyphen.
Ad block, and it's a red triangle with a hand. That's their whatever you call it.
Logo.
You mean a Are you saying a triangle or is it the stop
Looks like
sign?
a stop sign.
Stop
And
sign.
It's got a hand embedded, and that's what they're,
Ad blocking?
ad block.
Ad blocks, one word.
Is this for YouTube?
Well, this is just an ad blocker that for a plugin you can install in Chrome.
That's the
or
one.
For YouTube or just for whatever?
For whatever.
I use AdBlocker Plus, it's free. And you can watch all the YouTubes you want with no, you know, as long as you turn on your VPN, they don't know you're doing it.
The so this is the one. Are you looking up here? Is that the one?
No, there. It's the stop sign with a hand in it.
Yeah, I'll,
Chester, is that the one you're using?
Yes.
Okay.
And is it on the right-hand corner there, my eyes?
The left.
Left.
You see there's a red stop sign with a white hand in it. It says ad block next to it.
That's me.
That's the one?
And Jim, you use Ad Blocker Plus? Blocker?
Ad, yeah, AdBlocker.
It was
Or
the first
Ad
one
Block
right
Plus.
there, ATB.
AdBlocker Plus, and it's free.
Yeah.
And it gets rid of all your, well, a bunch of stuff, plus the YouTubes. You can watch all the YouTubes with,
Without
You don't
advertising?
have to stop
Isn't
them.
isn't this what they're fighting over right now?
yeah, because you add in all the commercials.
Yeah.
That you pay for it. And if you turn on your VPN and use the AdBlocker Plus, there's no commercials, there's no nothing. You watch the whole movies. As soon as I turn off the VPN, you can't have an ad blocker with YouTube. Oh, I forgot to turn it on. Hang on a second.
So where does your VPN say you are then? In Mexico?
Depending where I have it, usually it's set to Phoenix.
Yeah.
But as long as the VPN's on, they don't care. Like
Right.
they don't know.
some don't know and some do know.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that the VPN would have an effect on whether they're worried about you running an ad blocker or not. Maybe in Mexico there's some.
No, I do the same thing in Tucson.
Yeah,
Well,
what?
if I turn on the VPN, it works fine.
That's weird.
Just
You know
the
what you're
AdBlocker
reminding me of
Plus
is-
takes out the YouTube commercials.
What you're reminding me of is on my streaming box, my no-name knockoff Chinese streaming box that's in my office. Long ago, the YouTube app fell out of date, and there is not an update for it. And so long ago, I switched over to an application called SmartTube, and it is an excellent YouTube clone. Well, not the service, but the client. So when you open it up, you feel like you're in YouTube. Everything about it looks like YouTube. You use it exactly. You interface with it. You navigate with it. If you want to, you can dig into the settings, and there's just a whole bunch of different configurations you can do, like setting a limit on how high quality you want to come to this box. For example, you're not on a 4K TV. Never send me a 4K signal, which is kind of a difficult thing to do with the YouTube app. You have to actually go to each video and a lower quality video, things of that nature. But one of the things that it has, this is SmartTube is the name of the app, and it's free, is ad blocking. And I consistently forget that I have this ad blocking. I'm just enjoy YouTube sitting at my desk while I'm working on other things. I never give it a thought. And I move into the living room to hang out with my family, pull up the Fire Stick, and just get hit like a fire hose with all this advertising on YouTube that I consistently forget I'm using an app that stops me from getting any of this crap. So one of the things that I'd like to do that I have not taken the time to do is load that app on my Fire Stick and get rid of all this advertising. Now, there is a side effect that I have noticed, and I don't know how true this is, but I've correlated it with this app. I can't seem to watch YouTube movies. There is a collection of movies out there that you're allowed to watch for free if you're signed into YouTube, and they're sending you advertising. You get to watch these movies, and I can do that on the Fire Stick using the standard YouTube client, but I have not been able to do that on this SmartTube application.
And they are great black and white. from the 40s and 30s.
But they've got a great collection.
G. Robinson, they got a bunch of Edward Robinson. He's a great actor. And those movies are great.
Well, and in typical international fashion, there's a huge collection of things you can watch ad-supported on YouTube in the United States, whereas there's just a small handful of movies that I think I would be more concerned about it if they had a bigger offering in Mexico, but they have such a small offering in Mexico, I just go on to the next thing I might want to watch. But these are the legitimate YouTube movie offerings with ad-supported movies. Anyway, SmartTube, one of my favorite apps.
One word?
Yes.
One T or two?
Two T's. Okay. In fact, let me do a Google search on it and make sure I'm not an idiot and fear. But not only is it a third-party Android application, it's running on older versions of Android without any problem. SmartTube, two T's. I do not think you can find it in an app store. I think you have to sideload it into your Android device.
Oh, one word or two words?
One word.
One word.
Yeah, SmartTube, and it's on GitHub, smarttubeapp.github.io.
But it's Android based.
But it's Android based.
Do they have a .com you can go to on a computer?
No, I don't believe they do. I think their whole presence is on GitHub. So it's a github.io address, smarttubeapp.github.io. In fact, I can't figure out how they get any recognition except for from like people like me going, hey, this is an awesome app. I will stick this link in the document for today's meeting.
So you could load it onto your Fire Stick?
Yeah, the same way you loaded Streamio,
Yeah.
you could load
Which
this.
I completely forgot how that goes. But I can figure it out. I'll ask Bard.
Well, you can ask Bard. That's a good way to do it. But remember the downloader that's on your Fire Stick?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, you put this web address in there. It'll bring up a page that you can hit the downloader from.
I think almost never watch YouTube movies. Stremio is my go-to.
Yeah. Where am I putting this? Right here.
Oh, movies are on.
Yeah.
I've just enjoyed how much this stuff has really opened up. Like another experience that I've had recently, maybe some of you are familiar with it, is the live TV offering from Fire TV, from your Fire Stick. It's very impressive. We've been waiting a long time for it. You remember I talked about the value of the Roku TV offering when we buy TVs for the bed and breakfast, and we can just hook them to the Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden there's a TV service that guests can take advantage of. 300 plus channels curated by Roku. Amazon has been trying very hard to reach that level of sophistication with their products. I feel like they've finally done it. I set up somebody with an ExpressVPN connection on their Fire Stick, and the Fire Stick immediately started offering them live TV. A guide like you'd expect to get from a satellite service or a cable service, and real decent program. I think they even had a HBO stream in there where ad supported, real time. You got to catch it when it's being played, but we didn't sign up for any HBO.
Old school TV.
Yeah, like real old school TV. The people I was helping with it, what we were on is we were on a mission to get YouTube TV into their Fire Stick because that's what they were familiar with. I get the VPN set up, and I'm like, you might find what you're looking for right here on this live, and that's exactly what they had. It's like, well, we only use it for news anyway, and all those are right here. Why would we sign up for YouTube TV? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Why would you?
Well, I signed up and yeah. I like unlimited DVR. And I paid $72 a month, which is not, pretty reasonable for streaming service. I can't get it here with my VPN.
With your VPN. Yeah.
They're blocking it. So I can't have cancel.
Well, you can work through that. You just need to have the VPN in the right place, and you can call your VPN. When I say call, I mean you can chat or email. But their customer support now at all the VPN companies know you're trying to watch TV somewhere, and so they've got people that are working hard to help you do that with their VPN.
Yeah.
So it's
Streaming, optimized for streaming.
That's right. So like if it was ExpressVPN, it would be very easy to get a hold of their customer support and say, hey, look, here's where I am. Here's what I'm trying to do. It's not working.
Try this one.
And they would give you another location to connect up to that would make it possible what you're trying to do. Now, the disadvantage with YouTube TV is that YouTube TV, like DirecTV back in the day, will provide you with local streams. So you could watch your local channels. You could watch the football games come across. However, I mean, that's the only way I would distinguish in the past was the football games. But you would have access to the big three and whatever your local programming is, if you can verify that you're in that area. And for you to do that, your area would have to have a VPN location. So if you're in Phoenix, that's not a problem. But if you're in Homer, you're never going to get a Homer local station because there is no VPN node in Homer, Alaska. But you could say that you are in Phoenix and you could get the Phoenix channels across YouTube TV with a ExpressVPN, or Dallas, for example. You could say you're in Dallas, but that's two different. You'd tell YouTube TV I'm in Dallas, and then you would VPN to Dallas so that you could get those streams. But it's all doable. It's all doable because these VPN companies are working really hard to help you do this streaming outside of your local area. YouTube TV is consistently one of the best products and one of the most expensive products. You are getting one of the best offerings, but it is one of the most expensive offerings out there. And this Amazon TV, I like the Roku offering. I like the Plex offering is really. I got a little angry at Plex. Jim, are you still using a Plex server?
I have it,
Yeah. Did you notice they took playlists away? They've done this just recently. One of their latest updates broke playlists. You can't create playlists of music. But what I had for years in my Plex server is a Christmas playlist, a Halloween playlist, a Thanksgiving playlist. And what they were was whenever I found a TV show or a movie that was seasonally related, I'd stick it on that playlist. So when my wife is like, let's watch something Christmassy, I could go to the Christmas playlist and go, well, what do you want to watch? We've got Simpsons episodes. We've got Christmas movies. Gone. Can't even do a Christmas search through my library of movies, because unless it has Christmas in the title, it has no idea something would be Christmas related. I almost have to go to a service like IMDb or Trax and do the Christmas search there, and then come back to my local library, hoping that I've got it in my local library. Right. That, you know what? That is what people are saying. You go out on the internet and you're like, hey, what happened to playlist? I mean, Plex is a well-revered program. It is. People love it. People like me love it. People like Jim love it. It's been around for a long time. It is what makes it possible for you to have your own collections and share them with all your devices. It is great. This is obviously a market move that they've done.
I use it for
What's that?
is to share my server's movies with all the rest of the computers in the house.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing like it. Kodi can be set up similar. You can do things like you could put your files on a network drive, and you could tell Kodi to present them to you.
Yes.
And that is the solution in this case. But you can't get Kodi everywhere you can get Plex. The Kodi installation is much more complicated than a Plex client installation. So, I mean, it really,
How much time and do your backup on a flash drive. Have you restored Cody lately?
Yeah, but come on, seriously.
It restores like that.
If I want my parents to be able to watch movies I've got sitting in my house while they're in Alaska, it really is as easy as downloading Plex and signing up for an account, and I've sent you an invitation. It's that easy. And you can't do that with Kodi. With Kodi, you need to be an IT person to set up your entertainment center. And so I can't walk somebody over the phone how to set up Kodi to see my videos. In fact, I don't even know if it's possible,
Next time
actually.
you're up there, you could install Kodi for them, and it would all be there.
Well,
You're
again,
down here.
they'd be able to use it for streaming, but is there an extension to Kodi that would allow you the same experience to pass through and get videos from my house?
I believe so.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. They used to have a Plex plugin for Kodi, but that was just a Plex experience on the within the Kodi
Flex
framework.
Connect. Actually, there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
3. But I think Flex Connect still works, but it's really weird. You get it in and it'll work for a month. And if you change anything on that other computer that you put it on,
Yeah. I'm just really, this is another disappointing place where capitalism's winning. Plex has an offering that grew out of nothing, where they would offer channels that you can watch, and it was bad, and you had to install separate widgets to make it work, and things would break, and they wouldn't stream right. And now it's dialed in. Now it's like Roku TV. Now it's like Pluto TV, or Pluto's really good too. And this Amazon offering of channels is really good too. It's very stable, easy, and it's right there. It's right there if you've already got the Fire Stick. And so I think Plex has got a really good offering, and they're like, this is where the money is. And people are not going to move to this if we don't start like limiting the features of our previous offering. And playlists seems to be one of the first things that's gone away. I'm very disappointed. I can't even search just my library. Have you seen that? You go to your Plex client. If you go to do a search, it melds what you have locally in with what's available out there online. So you have to, every search result, you have to look and see if it's indicated that it's on your server or it's out there online to watch with advertising. They set them, the results are set side by side.
But I put it in, they let you choose directories, what movies you want. I've got one that's just regular movies for kids.
There you go.
I've got one that's for adults. So
Yep.
and stuff. When I go off to the side, I just
You
click
go to
on
that folder.
and it's
Yeah.
those movies.
That is another one of the solutions that people were coming up with, is just start organizing your movies in folders and make the folders available to you, which is great, except
I've always done.
I've never done that. I've always dumped all the movies into a movie folder and all the TV shows into a TV folder and let Plex sort it out for my presentation. And then I would make playlists, like I said. I right?
I never used a playlist.
Yeah, I use playlists all the time. And you can see where, like, that has a lot of advantage, just not even having to worry about organizing it, just dumping them all into one place and let the application organize it, which it was really good at until now. They've taken it out. And Kodi, so those were the two biggest suggestions that were made, as I found other people on the internet complaining about this change like I was, is you can move those movies into specific folders. And you know from experience, Jim knows from experience, those folders can be part of a bigger folder. So you could have your Christmas movies under your movie folder, and they would be in all the movies as well as a part in there. But it's just a different paradigm of organization that you have to intentionally put together. It's not on the fly. It's file management. It's file management.
It doesn't take much to.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, it's one thing when it's sitting there right in front of you. It's like, oh, I want to add this to my Christmas list. Oh, I forgot that one should be on the Christmas list. Now I have to leave the entire Plex experience, go into my file server, and drag that movie from where it is into a Christmas folder and then re-index Plex so that it can be found under the Christmas folder. These aren't things that are inspiring novices to organize, right? Novices are like, where's the channel for Christmas movies? That's what they're doing. Is they're like, oh, I bet Plex has a Christmas channel, right?
Probably does.
Yeah, of course it does. So we don't want you saving this stuff. If we're making it easy for you to save this stuff, Hollywood might start suing us. If you guys have not used Plex, one of the other things that's very interesting, Jim and I have never done this, but I've done this with other friends, shared Plex servers. So you can have a Plex account that has an invitation to go look at somebody else. And that's what I was talking about earlier is I can invite my parents to have their own Plex account. They can sign in and they see my servers available. Any of the movies and pictures and music that I have available becomes available to them no matter where they are on the internet. I just wonder how long that feature will be available, because they really are whittling away at the things that you had to educate yourself in to take advantage of it and replacing it with the brain dead stuff that every one of us can easily do. Just turn on the TV and hit the remote control, because that's essentially what it's turning into.
It'd be good for Tucson. Send myself an invite
Yeah.
when I'm up there.
Well, you can just sign into it and have access to it.
Yeah, but I have to have my computer online to get the movies off the server.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I have to have the computer set it back up to turn itself on. And then mine's set up to turn itself off at 10 o'clock
Oh, okay.
every night. And I turn it on whenever I get up. Do it. I used to have it so it would actually start and stop.
Well, you could put it on one of the smart outlet, right? Stick it on. I got some lights in the house that are all come on at sunset, turn off at sunrise.
Roll out like that.
You could do that with a computer too.
There's only one danger.
Yeah.
Like what happened at my house, I killed the deco, and all my smart devices were connected to it. So I had no access to any of my smart devices at home. I couldn't turn my lights off and on. Couldn't check the temperature.
Or see your
Did you
cameras.
lost your Wi-Fi?
No, I was trying to set up.
He didn't lose it. It's here in Mexico.
What's that?
He brought it with him.
Well, I brought one of the deco pucks, and I was trying to set it up here so that I could use smart devices here. And then signed into Deco, I killed the Deco server at home, the one that's plugged into my router. I basically disabled it. I could see it, but it no longer operated. So now all my smart devices were hooked to it.
Yeah.
So I can turn lights off and on, make it look like I'm home. I can check my temperature. I can check, make sure my septic tank is working.
Yeah, I got two different Wi-Fi setups. One's the Deco that's here. The other one's Get Here.
Yeah. Well, what I did is I inadvertently killed the one at home. I had my son comes and checks my house routinely once in a while. So I had to wait till he got there, and then between the two of us, we got it back running under the name that the smart devices were looking for, and now I'm back up running. I can. But what I have is I like to see the temperature. I like to see, like we run on a septic tank pump out system. I want to make sure that that's working. It does very little fluid ever goes in there when we're gone, but I want to make sure it's running. And then I have a couple cameras that I can check the house.
Yeah, down here I have the cameras.
Yeah.
And the lights.
Yeah.
Everything I can control.
Yep. But I couldn't. It was gone.
Air conditioners.
I had two lights that were hooked to the Hue puck or whatever that somebody gave me, that I had, just light bulbs that work off of it. And that's the only thing I could turn off and on. That was it. I was blind. Couldn't see anything. Anyway, I'm back up and running now.
All right. And what about here? Is it a different network?
I haven't tried the smart devices here. I'm scared to now. But the Deco puck that's here, I plugged it in and it goes to the blue flashing light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as far as I got. But I can see it and I can use it. And it's got more range than the router that's sitting there. It works better. So we're hooked to it. And I can hook up my smart devices to that, I think. But I haven't had a need to do it yet. I got 3 or 4 of those outlets, monitoring outlets. And that's but I haven't found a use for them yet. I haven't found anything I want to hook up.
Well, the one you gave me, I just recently stuck it on Juan's antenna because my neighbor's got all this construction going on and they keep popping the circuit breaker over there.
Yeah.
Juan asked if I would power his antenna for him so it'd have steady electricity. So I stuck one of those on there so I could see exactly how much electricity is being used at the end of my extension cord.
That's what I use, like the septic tank one, that's what I use it for. I can see how much power has been used in any, every day it'll show me. And that means if it uses 0.02 kilowatts or whatever it is, it's measuring. But once a month, it'll cut in. There must have a certain amount of drainage, tile drainage feeding into that tank. So as long as I see that, then I'm happy. But I get worried if I don't see that going on once in a while.
I've had it plugged into my entertainment center.
Yeah.
60-inch TV, a couple of gaming consoles, a repeater, some other stuff, just all there in the entertainment center. And I've monitored it to be about 35 kilowatts a month of electricity and entertainment.
I thought you said you were going to hook it to your girls' hair dryers or something.
We did those experiments
and then quickly shut it off because you didn't want to see.
I loved it when that all became apparent to my wife. She stopped complaining about my computers using too much electricity.
Yeah, exactly. It became a non-issue.
You see these 0.10 these milliwatts of usage.
That's me.
That's me. And you see those 150 watts of usage.
You see, the line is here, or it's here.
This is your hair dryer.
Yeah, this is your hair dryer.
Microwave.
Oh well, the micro,
but it's very intermittent. Yeah. Well, a hair dryer.
Hair dryer is too. The hair dryer is turned into the best example of the worst case scenario.
Oh, well, you're generating heat with electricity.
It is like your microwave. Your standard microwave is like a 700 to 1,000 watts. In fact, 1,000 watt microwave is pretty powerful. The hair dryer is 1,500 watts.
Yeah.
So anytime you turn on those two devices, the hair dryer is the culprit.
What I'd like to be able to do is hook into the mini split ones just to see how much juice they're using.
That would be interesting, especially comparing a new one to an old one.
Yeah, but they're hardwired in. They're not plugged in. But I'll bet you they make the place jump when they cut in, when the pump cuts in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what would be interesting is some
inverters don't use as much.
No, I know.
Very little. I changed to inverters at my house when I had the regular ones.
Yeah.
With my generator, if I could have 2 air conditioners running. I've got 5, one in each room.
Yeah.
Okay.
But only 2. With the old ones.
The old
I can run them all now.
Yeah. Off your generator.
Off my generator, yeah. Now when the power goes out, I turn on the generator.
You don't even pay attention.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except the pool. That's not on it.
Well, that's my dream installation at some point. Have my generator connected to the rest of the house and run everything if the power goes out.
That's easy to do.
Yeah, it takes money. For some people, that's easier than others.
It's not that hard to wire it, though.
Oh, I know the people to hire. I know the resources that are needed. It's not a knowledge problem, Jim.
It's not even that expensive. The only thing expensive.
Relatively speaking, you say.
You have the generator?
Yeah, I have the generator.
Then your big expense would be
Your throw switch.
Throw
kill
switch.
switch.
And
Because you got to kill the
Yeah,
The
you want
electricity
you want
going back
ice,
down to your loofah.
Right?
because you don't want to be sending it back out through
The
the
electric, poor electrician out there.
They need more than those canvas gloves and plastic
Also,
strips.
it blows the circuit breaker they
Yeah.
have on the lines. I popped that before, got excited, flipped on the generator, and
Oh, before the cutoff?
well, I was doing something, but we still had power coming in. I guess I was testing the generator, and anyway, I flipped the switch and it gave the house the power,
Right.
and I hadn't pulled the other one. It popped. The
Yeah.
whole block lost their power.
That was you.
Up the hill from me. The guy came out with a long pole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom.
That's it. I
Just-
turned off the generator real quick.
Yeah, real
walked in the
quick.
house. I don't know nothing.
Yeah. What happened?
How come we don't have any power?
You're reminding me that we had that experience at the bed and breakfast. It was a squirrel though, running across the power lines. Got made an arc somewhere. popped the breaker, and the whole block was off. The electric company came out, and while they're up there working, this charred squirrel corpse hits the ground.
Dinner's ready.
A little overdone, but it's ready.
Yeah. World's good.
How long you gotta you fry
Well,
a squirrel until it's done?
Till it's done, right? Well, we are reaching the end of our time here for the Computer Club meeting. Have we hit all the right notes? Is there anything else we'd like to talk about? Have we got any recommendations? People out there reading, using resources, watching TV, movies, anything you want to share with any of us? This is the time to do it.
No.
Nobody? Nobody's got anything? I watched a funny movie this last week called Quiz Lady. You've probably seen it show up in your queues. This is Aquafina. This is Aquafina and Sandra Oh playing sisters in a comedy. Chinese sisters. And who else? Oh, Will Ferrell's in it as well. And I found it hilarious. I was laughing all the way through it. But one of the things that I really appreciated about it, I'm not an Aquafina fan. I have not liked her humor. I find her to be grating. Her voice is grating. Her comedies is a bit too far out there. It's a little disgusting at times, right? I haven't been attracted to it at all. And in this movie, I think the first time that I've really appreciated her was in the Marvel movie. She played the sidekick in the Kung Fu movie. What was it called? Shang Ong. Anyway, I don't even remember. But it was the first time I really appreciated her contributing to something. And in this, I think I appreciated it for the same reason. She kept her character under control. She played it straight. She had funny stuff to say without being gross or. The movie is Quiz Lady.
Quiz Ladies. I've seen it. I've seen it pop on.
Yeah,
somewhere.
and I have had no real interest in it from the promotions I've seen. But you and I are sitting around going, well, what should we watch? And we're flipping through, not finding anything. So, well, let's just see what this is all about. We'll turn it off. We don't like it. And we went all the way through it. We're laughing out loud. It was great fun.
What platform?
What's that?
What platform?
I think it's Netscape or Netflix. I think it was Netflix that it's on. I was watching it on Streamio, I'm sure.
That's what I say. I don't bother with any of those other shows. I just go find it.
But if I had to distinguish a very specific characteristic about this movie, Aquafina was really reined in. Will Ferrell was really reined in. You know how sometimes he just goes out. I mean, take a movie and a funny situation and just make it so ridiculously unbelievable that now it's not funny anymore. I feel like that's the Will Ferrell. Yeah, a Will Ferrell movie is one where the director knows how to cut him off right at the right place. Like going over. He doesn't go over the edge. It's a funny movie. He goes over the edge. You're like, what am I doing watching this thing? And he was really kept under control. Aquafina was really kept under control. And Sandra Day or Sandra Oh was playing a role that was so different from all her other roles. I always think of her as playing, I don't know if you remember, this is the woman from Grey's Anatomy, the Oriental woman that I mean, that's really where she got her popularity. And she's been in a number of different series since then, but I always feel like she plays a fairly educated, and some of the humor comes from her being in an outrageous situation, not being an outrageous person.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome, Irving.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye, Ernie.
In this movie, it was just the reverse. She was playing just an outlandish character. I'd never seen her play a character like that before. And so I thought that was a great performance. All three of these people were like out of their element, and it worked in this movie.
Got something to say?
Oh, yes, Jonathan.
Regarding movies, you know, about you're not liking Aquafina, but
Yeah.
in this movie, like I'm a fan of Bill Burr.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know who that is. And I like his comedy, you know, because it's really true. And they have a new movie, I don't remember what's his name, about him and three other guys that are trying to.
Old Dads, I think's the
Old
name
Dads.
of it. Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like his comedy, but he like, I think like they tamed him.
Yeah.
And he didn't say what he usually says. So it was not funny to me, even though I consider him like really funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's the opposite of what you're saying. You know,
Sure. Yeah.
They downgraded him
No,
into nothing, into non-funny.
I could.
That's what I thought, because
Yeah.
I was like, he was always the guy that doesn't care about what people think, you know. And I was going to be like, oh, this movie is going to be like just him going all at it. And now in this one, he's just like really tame. So I don't know.
I'm probably a sexist racist because I like his comedy. I wouldn't want it to be tamed down. Aquafina, I can't stand her comedy, and I think she does a much better job tamed down. but they're the same kind of. They got the same kind of comedy, don't they? And one's from an Oriental woman, and the other one is from some white guy. And for some reason, this old white guy, I don't have a problem getting it from, but it's the same kind of outrageous comedy, isn't it? From both. I mean, it's from different perspectives, but it's the same kind of over the edge comedy. Like you said, they don't care.
Well, on my opinion, I would consider, I've seen Aquafina, but like Bill Burr, it doesn't feel like he being outrageous to be outrageous, and Aquafina is like he's trying to be
outrageous,
you know, to pull that kind of audience. At least is that how I feel it. That's why I don't like her that much. And you know, some of her comedies, I'm not saying that she's bad.
Right.
In her stand-up or whatever, she can be funny, but on movie base-wise, as an actress, I don't, you know. The same. I thought Bill Burr, great comedian, but as an actor,
I haven't watched that show yet. Did you see him in The Mandalorian?
yes.
He did an awesome job in The Mandalorian.
What did he play?
He was in those episodes where they were doing they were breaking into the Imperial stronghold. They put on disguises and took over a transport. So he was the one that had all the Imperial experience. In the first season, we got to know him because he was one of the ones that was going to what was it? It was they were going to a prison to free one of the members of this group, and the Mandalorian was hired to help them with the prison break.
I think sometimes it happens that some actors or comedians, you cannot see them in another role because you just think of him as what he is. Like, for example, when I saw Jack Black,
oh yeah,
and I couldn't take it seriously because I just consider Jack Black as a funny man. You know.
Sure, yeah.
And, it took me out in that episode. You know, doesn't have to do with his acting. It's just that it's like if you see a Jim Carrey movie, you expect him to be all like faces and hilarious. And when he tried to he has done like serious roles and he's good. But like I think people expect something of some people or some comedians. So it's hard to see them out of their roles.
I mean, Jack Black is a powerhouse. It's just amazing. He's so discreet. Like people just write him off as just being a silly guy. And like you look at his rock career and how he is well respected in the hard rock community as being a real force right there with his band Tenacious D. Yeah, and then his comedies, you would think that that's all he's about. He gets into these drama roles. He really, I think he's underappreciated. For as much appreciation as he gets, he is a force. And now he's making special TikTok videos and stuff with his kids, because his kids are becoming movie producers and nepo babies. That's what they are, nepo babies. That's the terminology. We got to get out of here. This is late. Jonathan's waiting for us to leave.
No, I came here just because I'm interested in movies and I was
No.
hearing about the Aquafina.
If Jonathan
And I wanted to
contributes,
join in a little
does
bit.
he owe the 10
There you go.
pesos?
That's right. You got to pay 10 pesos
You
to be
gotta
part of the
participate in 10 pesos.
If you want to like TV series, try out the new Frasier.
The which?
Oh!
New Fraser.
I've been excited to try it. I keep forgetting that it's out.
The first episode isn't so good, but they tie everything together because his dad died and his brother's not there. And they bring everything together on the first episode. Second episode and on, it also tied everything.
Some of these characters are great to see resurfacing in a world where everybody's instantly communicating, everybody's online, everybody has a cell phone in their pocket. It'll be very interesting. I want to check it out.
His ex-wife showed up.
What show are you talking about? I missed what Jim said.
Frasier.
The new Frasier.
Oh,
And I don't know what it's on because I watch it on Cody.
And the
don't
movie I
know.
was recommending, Cheryl, that you probably would enjoy is Quiz Lady.
oh. I watched Naiad this week. I don't know if you guys have ever talked about that one. The
Naiad?
swimmer that swam across from Cuba to Florida.
Yeah. I saw the trailer for it. I didn't even realize that was a real story.
Yeah, it's
I've never
so
heard it
well
before.
done. It's really well done. It talks about it's factual stuff, but the abuse that she suffered, her determination, just it was a very well done movie. I haven't seen Jodie Foster in anything for a while, and she just really nailed it, her role. So it was quite good.
She's been directing movies, Jodie Foster.
Oh, yeah.
She just
That's
escaped.
Jodie Foster and Annette Bening.
Yeah, she just escaped by swimming. Is that right?
Escaped? No.
She swam the English Channel.
No. She swam to Cuba from Florida.
Oh, to Cuba.
No,
So
other way around.
she had a boat with her.
Oh, from Cuba? It was the other.
From
I didn't
Cuba?
see the movie. I saw the trailer.
From Cuba to the U.S., and she tried it 5 times and finally completed it in her 90s.
In her
Whoa.
90s. Wow.
It's an amazing story. It is an amazing story. You have to watch it.
Mhm.
All
What's the
right.
name
Well,
again?
Jim's waving goodbye. We're shutting things down here in Tequilas. What the name of that was?
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, she's gone.
Okay.
Well, Jim, it
Bye.
is Annette Bening and Jodie Foster. I think it's on Amazon Prime, if I remember right.